Welcome to Beneath the Shred. I'm TJ Ho, and today you're going to learn to sweep pick like a superhero. So strap on your cape and let's get shredding. Today we'll be applying sweep picking to arpeggios. I'm going to show you every shredder's favorite shapes. There'll be a rookie, intermediate, and scary awesome level for each one. I'm going to use the cage system to explain these since it organizes everything really sweet. Our first arpeggio relates to the C chord form. So if we played that C chord form at the 12th fret so that our root is on the 15th, we'd have a C major chord, just an octave higher than if we played it open. Okay? Now we're going to arpeggiate that. So we start on our root, add our E the third, G our fifth, and then go C, E, and G again. Now the other thing that we can do is add a G underneath that C on the 10th fret of the A string. Okay, now, beginners, just do the top 3 strings. Intermediates, you can start using all 5 strings. And you're going to want to do a downstroke here, hammer, and then down, 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 up, pull off. Now for the advanced, the scary awesome, you want to do that same thing as the intermediates, but then we can tap a C on top. It's pretty cool. But then we can also start mixing in just the top 3 strings. It's pretty cool if you do a little zigzag. Oh yeah. And don't forget the minors of all of these are used just as often. So let's quickly turn this C major into a C minor. We're gonna flat the E's to E flats. So 13th fret there and 11th fret. You'd still tap the C on both. There you go. Let's move on to the next shape. Our next arpeggio relates to the A shape. So if we take our A chord and we play that up on the 12th fret, we'll have an A an octave higher. Now to arpeggiate that, we're going to use the exact same form, the exact same pick strokes and everything that we used with the C chord because they're both 5-string arpeggios. We're going to go down and hammer our C sharp, the third of the chord. And then we'll go down, 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 all on the 14th fret. With one more down on the 12th fret. So. Then we have to do an upstroke on that A and pull off. So again, beginners, top 3 strings. Intermediates, all 5 strings. And advanced, again, do all 5 strings with the tap. You're going to tap the C sharp because that's the next note in the arpeggio that we have. Okay, and then you can do the little zigzag thing again. Keep it real cool. And don't forget that minor equivalent. We're going to move our C sharps down to C's. So instead of hitting the 16th fret, we'll hit the 15th on the A string. And move that 14th fret on the B string down to the 13th. And then if you were going to tap, you'd have to tap the C natural, not the C sharp as your highest note, since that's the third. Oh yeah. Last real basic shape that comes straight out of the cage system, the E chord form. So we're going to start on the E, hammer onto our G sharp on the 16th fret. Now we're going to go all downstrokes. 14, 14, 13, 12, 12, and then you can get that G sharp again with an up, pull off. Beginners, top 3 strings. Intermediates, you can do all 6 strings. And advanced, you got it. You're going to do all of it with a tap and the zigzag. Going to tap that B note. In minor equivalent of E, hammer onto the 15th fret instead of the 16th, so G natural. And then again the 12th fret instead of the 13th fret on the G string. And then you can hammer the 15th again up there. You'd still tap the B on both. We have 2 more shapes to talk about out of the cage system, the G and the D. However, neither of them are used in the same manner that the other 3 shapes are used because they're just awkward by themselves and make for some pretty sucky guitar playing. So we can still use them, we just approach them in a different manner. Let's take our D. If we had our D chord up at the 12th fret. It's really awkward, and you're not going to get a lot of speed if you stay in position and try to sweep them like the other ones that we were doing. Okay, so what we do is we introduce a slide. And technically we are in the C shape now. And then we can end in the E shape. So we're actually traveling through the D shape. We're going through the E to the C. E, D, and up to the C. So that's how the D shape is used. And that's how you can think of it as in relation to the cage system. It really organizes this kind of stuff for you. So you can even put in that tap and the zigzag, and it's really just the same as what we did in the C form, because when we get up there, that's the C form. We're just learning how to travel through the fretboard now. Let's talk about the G shape where we can do something similar. The last shape in the cage system, the G, we can use that a little bit too. So let's take our E chord on the 12th fret with the G shape. We can start on the bottom 3 strings with our triad, and then we slide into our E shape. And then finish off in the C shape. That's pretty sweet, hey? One other thing you can do to extend it is put in the good old zigzag and the last lick that I showed you. There you go. We've covered the most famous sweep picking shapes, the ones you need to know. Now that you see how these licks can be created and how you can merge all the shapes, have fun and create your own style with it. But I have to warn you, don't just sit there and go up and down with sweep picking. That's kind of old school and it gets boring now. People think that you've got no feel. It's just an exercise. I get no end of flack for that. Sometimes you just like to do it. But I've learned you got to throw in some other stuff, okay? You know, so you can start, but try to throw in a scale run to end it off, or some tapping, like maybe something like this. I'm TJ Ho. I'll see you next time.